Secrets from the Jungle: How Ayahuasca Taught Me to Overcome Darkness. Hi, I'm Nanice. Although this is my story of defeating darkness, it is intended to help you defeat all forms of negativity in your life and in the world. Whether it is depression you face alone, suppression in a difficult relationship, or the fear of global oppression, the core answer is always the same. Fortunately, you already possess the key, and by the end of my story, you will know exactly how to use that key for healing and transformation. Let's start with my quest for answers and awakening. With over 3 decades of searching for truth and spiritual awakening, my quest brought many answers, but every answer ignited more questions. Finally, desperate to find the missing pieces of the puzzle, in 2009, I decided to do something I swore I would never do. I traveled to Peru, and in the heart of the Amazonian jungle, I drank the mysterious tea ayahuasca for the very first time. Ayahuasca is an ancient healing medicine that is brewed by combining 2 Amazonian plants, and although it's impossible to understand how ayahuasca works without experiencing it yourself, it's fair to say that it awakens consciousness and facilitates healing in a way that is therapeutic and unique for each person. Oftentimes, profound shifts in consciousness result in deep and permanent transformation. But this is not just a story about ayahuasca. This is a story about overcoming negativity. Journey to the Amazon. Sitting in the circular shamanic lodge just hours after arriving in the Amazon, I found myself among 20 fellow journeyers from all over the world. Although I sat quietly on my mat, watching the shaman prepare the ayahuasca, deep inside doubts and fears screamed loudly. Yet, when it was my turn to drink, I courageously drank every last drop. During the first ceremony, ayahuasca offered me many lessons, but most of all, I was shown the chaos and crisis overshadowing the planet. As this awareness triggered a very familiar desire to save the world, the medicine asked me to take on planetary pain and suffering in order to purge it. Since my desire to help humanity outweighed any personal fears, I said yes, and within minutes, my body became an energetic container for humanity's suffering, and that of the entire planet. Despite deep emotional pain and the intention to release it, purging was nowhere in sight. With no relief or resolution during the first ceremony, the second ceremony on night 2 continued where the first left off. However, by dawn the next morning, the emotional pain had only deepened, and along with it, my determination for healing and resolution. I had come too far not to finish what I started, so despite great fear and trepidation, on night 3, I drank the tea once again. Unlike the gradual onset of the first 2 ceremonies, the medicine hit like a hurricane. All at once, a horrific energy descended, and the shamanic lodge transformed into a house of horror. As bone-chilling fear surged through my veins, an all-pervasive energy morphed into a dark force that quickly had me under siege. And the more I struggled to resist, the more powerful it became. Literally, in the blink of an eye, I was drowning in a thick sea of dark, diabolical energy that represented centuries of horrific traumas and tragedies, from Holocaust to atrocities. Even though I knew I was under the influence of ayahuasca, it didn't matter, because it felt more real than anything I'd ever experienced in my life. No matter what I tried, there was no way to escape and no place to hide. Even when I closed my eyes, this faceless, nameless energy greeted me on the other side. Nothing offered the slightest relief. And if I dissociated or checked out for even a moment, this unforgiving force energetically tortured me in ways I cannot describe. With no end in sight, absolute terror flooded every cell of my being. The journey was no longer about saving the planet or healing humanity. Now I was fighting for my life, fearing that even in death there would be no escape from this relentless tormentor. Indeed, I was all alone with no hope of anyone saving me. What had I done? Why did I drink this terrible tea again? Even as these regretful thoughts did somersaults in my head, I was acutely aware that there was no way to undo this nightmare, and the only way out was through. But this would be no easy feat, because to confront this horrific energy, I would first have to confront my own paralyzing fear. Therefore, with no other choice, I summoned up every ounce of courage, and remembering the Peruvian word for illusion, I silently commanded, "Maya, go away. Only love and light are welcome." As I executed this command over and over, the dark energy began to slowly retreat, and thankfully my commands are working just enough to provide some degree of relief. However, if I stopped, or my thoughts strayed for even a second, or doubt crept in, the oppressive energy instantly regained control, and every time this happened, I had to begin the whole process over again. Moreover, since each round was increasingly difficult, it became perfectly clear that my salvation depended solely on my determination to stay conscious. Indeed, if I was to keep the dark energy at bay, I had to remain fully present and on active guard. Although I was exhausted and beyond exhausted, I made the commitment to stay conscious and focused until the medicine wore off. It seemed like an eternity, but the alternative was intolerable. Once I made this commitment, however, I wiped my mind of regrets and I dropped all resistance. No longer paying attention to mental exhaustion and firmly ignoring my body's pleas for rest, from there on out my commands possessed greater power and more intent. Despite steadfast determination and continuous commands, I could not get the dark energy to retreat, however. Not giving up, I searched for the magic words that would dominate the energy and make it back off. Lo and behold, the instant I commanded, "Only love is real," the energy retreated beyond the perimeter, and after a few minutes, love formed a circular boundary that protected me from all directions. It was profoundly clear in that moment that love was the most powerful force. Although I was extremely relieved to find the magic words, I still had to command them over and over in order to keep the new perimeter in place. However, the instant I thought, there has to be an easier way, I heard a non-physical voice say, "Project love," and I instantly knew that the vibration of love could be projected with intention. I would later realize that this voice was the spirit of ayahuasca. So as I commanded, "Only love is real," I imagined projecting the vibration of love into the darkness, and to my surprise and amazement, the energy was not only retreating, it was also losing power. Although I desperately wanted to embrace this first sign of victory, after hours of continuous torment, I didn't trust it. So just to be safe, I fiercely projected more and more love. Minutes later, my dark tormentor, along with the house of horror, dissolved into nothingness. No battle, no fight, no negotiation. Without the slightest resistance, darkness was defeated by love. Beyond extraordinary, the only thing that remained was deep, unconditional love, like I have never known before, and it just kept growing. This exquisite love was millenniums beyond human love, and it was literally everywhere. Not only overflowing from me, it was in everyone and connected everything. And for the first time, I understood how we were all one, and I experienced oneness as the source of my being. Even though I had been depleted of all resources, suddenly I was bubbling with zest and energy, and I knew that the magic words were in fact true. Only love is real. As if Mother Nature orchestrated a grand celebration on my behalf, the moment I broke through darkness into love, thunder and lightning burst from the sky with mind-blowing synchronicity. Then after crawling off my mat in the shamanic lodge and going outside, I sat blissfully under a tree for hours, and as the warm rain washed away any remaining residue, I watched the dark night transform into the light of day. During the most challenging night of my life, I learned to stay fully present while holding the vibration of love, and in doing so, I discovered the key to transcending darkness. But remember, this is not just my story defeating darkness. This story is intended for you. Just like I defeated darkness in the jungle, you have the power to dissolve all negativity. By sharing the 5 life-changing lessons I learned in the jungle, I now pass this golden key to you. Lesson number 1. The true nature of reality. Ayahuasca showed me the true nature of reality and how life operates very much like a dream or a sophisticated simulation. You see, there's only one energy in the universe, and everything is made from this one energy because there's nothing else to make anything out of, period. It's pure source energy or nothing. But even nothing, it's still pure source energy. Although source energy is indescribable, many sages, philosophers, and awake beings have named it love. However, equating source energy with the conditions and limitations associated with human love is quite misleading. The infinite and unconditional love of source is beyond human experience. And without ayahuasca, alternative plant medicines, or years of mindfulness training, direct access to source energy is usually rare. Yet we are each an expression of source energy, and we exist to express and experience all the potentials and possibilities of creation. Regardless of expression or materialization, source energy is indestructible and limitless, and can never be altered or diminished in any way whatsoever. Source can morph into anything or anyone and still remain true to its nature, which is great news because the human experience requires contrast, the yin and yang of metaphysical design. Without contrasting opposites and polar effects such as dark and light, positive and negative, and good and bad, life as we know it would cease to exist. Lesson number 2, playing the game of life. As conscious beings with free will, we each willingly came into this world with amnesia of our true selves and the true nature of reality. Why? Well, as our all-knowing true selves, there's no challenge, thrill, or satisfaction in the game of life. Therefore, to have real-life experiences where we overcome opposition, benefit from experience, and receive life's abundant gifts, we first have to forget that we are infinite beings. After all, there's no point playing a game without challenges, purpose, and the promise of fulfillment. Furthermore, the attributes of our true selves include love, joy, and peace. But without contrast, we really have no conceptual understanding of our true essence. Without fear or hate, love has no meaning. And without sadness or grief, joy remains abstract. The game of life allows us to experience contrast in order to experientially know our true selves. So whatever you choose to experience in life, you must first experience its opposite. For example, to know worth, you must experience unworthiness. To know freedom, you must experience entrapment. To know empowerment, you must overcome powerlessness. Keep in mind that no matter the physical or emotional dangers of being human, there's no risk in playing the game of life because we always wake up as our true selves, completely unharmed. Lesson number 3, the origin of darkness. Ayahuasca showed me the 2 main reasons for darkness and negativity. 1, we need bad guys. For the game of life to commence and to play our pre-chosen parts, we need an appropriate stage and supporting cast, which includes one's family, friends, environment, and some predetermined experience. Oftentimes, the specific parts we choose to play require counterparts. For instance, the part of the hero requires people to save, and the part of the healer requires sick people to heal. Just as others agree to play parts for us, we agree to play parts for them. Additionally, to recognize and rise above human limitations and evolve accordingly, we need challenges to overcome. And this often requires others to play bad guys. Play, however, is the optimum word because if we are all source energy, there can be no bad guys or victims. My 7-year-old grandson loves bad guys because he knows that inside every bad guy is a good guy pretending to be bad. And without some of us playing bad guys, we couldn't play the game at all. Not only that, without bad guys demonstrating darkness and fear, we might stay complacent and never benefit from life, nor evolve. The other reason for darkness and negativity. Humanity is stuck in a web of disempowerment. Humanity has been asleep for a very long time. Incarnating from life to life without awakening has resulted in a history of global disempowerment. Playing a game of separation and not remembering who we really are, most people live in a state of fear and survival, and as a result act and react in ways that cause them to be perpetrators and victims. Ayahuasca showed me how darkness is precipitated by deep emotional pain such as fear, despair, and hopelessness, and how it manifests as poverty, war, abuse, victimhood, suffering, and depression, often perpetrated from one generation to the next. Virtually every bully and perpetrator was once abused by a bully or perpetrator, who was once abused by a bully or perpetrator. So who's to blame? If you believe in reincarnation, it's possible that you perpetrated a victim who grew up to abuse the person who abused you. Therefore, you might consider that we sometimes come back to heal the wounds we created in the first place. Although it's a complex web we weave, you don't need to know where it began in order to heal it. Lesson number 4. There's nothing to fear. Ayahuasca should be a vibrational universe where everything is composed of vibrating energy within a spectrum. Representing expressions of one source, fear and darkness are on one end of the vibrational spectrum, while love and light are on the other. Although free will allows us to choose the spectrum of vibration in which we exist, most of us unconsciously choose through our emotional reactions. Believing we are separate and alone, it's natural to defend ourselves against perceived threats. But unfortunately, this throws us into the dark end of the spectrum. This means then, whenever we react defensively or fight against negativity, we end up vibrating with the issues or people we are against. Nonetheless, just like the dark energy I had to face in the Amazon, everything we fear is an illusion and only has power because we give it power through fear. And this is why there is nothing to fear but fear itself. Lesson number 5. Love must be activated. The most transformational experience of my life led me to discover that love is the most powerful force in the universe. But due to the nature of love, this power cannot be used for harm. With love as your weapon, you have the power to dissolve darkness and negativity at will. However, despite its potential magnitude, love has no power unless activated through consciousness, and this means that the power of love is ineffective without conscious intention. Through your conscious intention, you can find the switch and activate all the love, aka light, you want and need. Just as I was the source of my own light in the Amazon, you are the source of your own light in every aspect. Nothing outside of you has more power than the light within, but you must go within to activate it. Although positive intention activates love, intent must also be followed by focused attention. Although the power of love is activated whenever you choose love, you must also hold the vibration of love long enough to reach an energetic threshold. The point is to stay tuned to love for as long as it takes to make a shift. Although this is a simple concept, it can be quite challenging when we have conditions on love and when others must meet our conditions. It's easy to shift from love to judgment in the blink of an eye. Therefore, to utilize the power of love, we must consciously and consistently choose love over and over again and not give power to fear or negativity, nor believe what others want us to believe. Your mind can be fueled by love just as easily as it can be fueled by fear, but you have to consciously choose, or through complacency, this choice is made for you. No doubt if you are not controlling your mind, someone or something else is. There are 3 steps to dissolving negativity with love. 1. Activate the vibration of love through conscious intention. For example, imagine your heart is filled with love. 2. Once love is activated, imagine projecting love towards and through the negativity you wish to dissolve. 3. Stay tuned to the vibration of love and keep projecting until an energetic threshold is attained and negativity dissolves. This might occur in minutes, or it might be a practice you undertake for several days, weeks, or months. Let's be clear, choosing love does not mean that others can disempower you in any way. Definitely stand for what you believe, set boundaries, and speak your truth. However, not by battling darkness or fighting for a cause, but rather by aligning with your true self and acting on behalf of empowering solutions. One choice at a time. Together, we can manifest a new dream for humanity. Therefore, each time you choose love over fear and connection over separation, you contribute to collectively raising the planetary vibration. And this means that every choice counts. Just like the 100-monkey theory, when we reach an energetic threshold, love will spread throughout the world as the dominant frequency. And as if it effortlessly dissolves disempowerment, the era of darkness will be eradicated. By making love your most important intention and choosing love again and again, you'll soon discover that love is to darkness as kryptonite is to Superman. If you'd like to know more about choosing love, please read my article, Choose Love. Be the change you want to see in the world. What to remember? We are playing the game of life. Everything consists of vibration. Love dissolves negativity. Love must be consciously activated and practiced. Since every choice counts, choose love again and again. Finally, no doubt ayahuasca's lessons are extraordinary, but the journey doesn't end when the medicine wears off. Indeed, for the wise and ready, it only just begins. As with any transformational experience, what you do afterwards really counts. Not surprisingly, it took me well over a year to integrate, and nothing has ever been the same since. I'd like to leave you with these final words. As the source of your own light, you have the power to illuminate all darkness. I'm Nanice. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And please join me on my website at nanice.com. That's Nanice.com. Thank you.